Hey, today's same date, May 20th, 2025. Present with us now is the treasurer, Terry Piltz. Terry, will you lead us off on what's going on in your department, please?
Tax collection.
Ooh.
So unfortunately, I thought that all of your reports were ready, all your copies were ready, but I'd looked to pull them out and they weren't there. So I'll email this to you. This is my original, so you can't have it. Sorry, I was on the road so late. And I didn't- Anyway, so we do balance. We do have a couple outstanding items that will clear in May, I hope, May. There's nothing significant. I did overpay interest, $190.07 in April. Because when I wrote all the numbers down, I wrote one twice. Paulette caught it. She's like,
Who's paying to?
well, everybody got a share.
Oh, everybody got-
So in May, I'm gonna pay $190 less to offset my mistake. It was my mistake, so. Payroll balances, there's nothing huge here. So I will email those to you, and if you have any questions, please ask me. So as you know, the state of Montana reduced the taxable rates. So that delayed our mobile home bills, which, we had 450 mobile home bills that were mailed between Friday and today. Which is about 75 more than normal than previous year. So they must have found some, I guess. But that taxable rate is 0.89 now versus 1.35, so that reduced your revenue for this fiscal year about $20,000. Not huge, but based upon what we projected, that's $20,000 or so less.
Those aren't hooked to the mills where we adjust our mills to make up for that,
You don't adjust your mills for that, do
for
you?
mobile home?
Yeah,
I thought it was all in the same tax.
well,
When we get all our valuations, we have. what
well, you're right.
Our mill is.
Correct, it would be 1.35, except for that the state made that immediately. So the second half, I mean, this first half, which you normally would have had projected at 1.35,
Oh,
is
so
0.89.
it's last year's.
Yeah, it's last year's mills, but so last year's mills apply here, but the taxable rate is less.
Gotcha.
So,
It's mills we've already set then.
yeah,
Oh,
for the
Okay.
mobile homes.
gotcha,
Those don't
okay.
change until, and it won't change for the second half either. Because the mills are already in place. So the mills are already in place from this fiscal year to cover the second half of our mobile homes. So on real estate, those rates are now applied based upon the valuation. So the leave, if I remember the numbers off the top of my head, up to like $750,000. Those tax rates will be less than 1.35. And as your property starts to climb and get reassessed, then your rate's gonna climb. So between 750 and $1,000,005, it's 1.35, which is what the current rate is. And anything over that is gonna be higher, 1.89. So the bad thing, in my opinion, about that is that the way assessments are being managed by the state, that means your house could continue to go up in their opinion value, which means that you all of a sudden get pushed into that higher rate class, and then you're back to where we were. So, in my opinion, it's not a very good deal for the taxpayer. I mean, all of us sitting in this room will be fine for the next 2 years probably, but I don't know. This is a reassessment year and we don't have those values yet either. So that's probably gonna change, which means that you're gonna end up, it's gonna be a weird mathematical problem, I'm sure, for the finance group, but because if your rates are lower, you would normally raise the mills, right? But if your assessments are higher, you'd normally lower the mills, so I think it's,
Yeah. it's
I don't know that your budget's gonna be pretty, is what I'm trying to say.
If the higher tax on the upper end houses offset the lower tax on the lower end, it should be
You're
a
still,
wash.
you're still gonna,
Should be a wash, but
come right. in the middle.
it'll be off a little, but we can adjust our mills to make up for that, I'm sure.
I know, I'm a little bit worried, especially, when a couple officers here said something and I said, I am not a part of this process, but we don't have a lot of money, is what I said. Be
That's what they
kind,
heard here
be
too.
kind and be fair. We're doing the best we can. That's what I said. So, anyway, I said someday I'd like to come listen, but May is not the month to listen. May is collection time. Our collections are slow, but I did get a notice this morning from Loretta, which brings in about 100,000. Core Logic is our huge payments of people with mortgages. That has not even, we haven't even been notified that those payments are on their way. Personal property tax bills were mailed out last Thursday. Personal property, as you know, is usually cows and goats and business equipment. So, that's not a huge tax thing. For most of us, it's not a huge, it's mostly predator animal control, so it's not a big thing. Paulette's gone till the middle of June. Pretty sure she may or may not come back, period. Denise is gonna need to take the summer off because she's not well, but I think that we're fine, staff-wise. I think we're fine until tax season comes back around, and then Denise said she'd come back in and help post, and I'm sure Paulette would too, so. Anyway, otherwise, the windows look amazing. You see the windows? Bob Mullen asked me why we got sliders on the bottom, and I said, that's our escape hatch, although none of us can fit out of them.
A pretty small escape hatch.
He thought maybe I threw somebody through them first. He said, as much as that's tempting, I'm not getting arrested. Other than that, I think we're good. We still have some stuff that needs to get written off for this fiscal year. And I meant to bring that in, and that didn't get finished either because we've been short and now we're back. But I have not heard from DOJ about paying us back for Chris's time. It's like they're ignoring it.
Surprise, surprise.
But they want me to sign that MOU, which I have not signed yet. I kind of just like give up. The Cascade County attorney has found lots of errors in the MOU as far as legal stuff. So I'm gonna let her fight that fight a little bit first. The Gallatin County Commission doesn't want to sign it because there's errors in the MOU. So we're back to where I was. I'm just gonna let it ride, just let it sit. I don't know what else to do about it. I think that it should be written different, but I was just gonna sign it, and then I'm hearing from these other people now, so I'm just gonna let it sit. And she'll gnaw on me about it, Lori, well, and I'll just say, well, you got stuff to fix. We're not doing it, so until everybody else is in agreement. There are some treasurers that already signed it because they don't look at the details, they just sign. So there's about 10 of them that already done that. But those are super small counties that aren't gonna be affected as deeply, so. Anyway,
Because eventually you just get worn out.
that's what I was gonna sign. It was like,
That's the way it always works.
I'm so tired of fighting it. I don't think we need it. I don't think we even need it. The Department of Revenue sends a form out every year. It's called a work agreement. What would you like us to do for you? And what are you gonna do for us? It's what it says. It's a page and a half. And it says, can we go into your system and make adjustments in the assessor? Yes or no? Yes, because I want you to do assessor so that I do the other side. And that way people don't think I'm manipulating somebody's tax data, right? One person does this, one person does that, right? It's check and balance. And they always write yes or no. And I go, yes. And they say, will you do X? And I say, yes. And it's that simple. What software company do you have? And then you sign it and they sign it. It's that simple. That's what this one really should be. You gave us equipment. We're going to pay you this. You have access to ordering plates. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be this
The whole process,
giant legal mumbo jumbo.
the whole process reminds me of when the state went through that with their prisoners in the jails. It reads exactly the same. They don't want to pay you what it's worth. You just get wore down and agree with it because otherwise you get nothing.
Yeah, well, then you get nothing. And one treasurer for Gallatin just asked me that. Well, if we don't sign it, do we still get the 10 cents per transaction? I said, I do not know the answer to that question.
That's the issue.
I don't know the answer to that question. I would assume that the answer might be no, but I don't know. At this rate, we're paying for everything anyway, so what's the difference?
Was there, I meant to ask you that before, was there an agreement before where they paid you something or have they always been?
So up until the current administration, there was a portal, so to speak, where we can order 10 boxes of paper. And the state just took care of it, ordered it, and it was delivered, right? They paid for it. So we made very carefully put all of the state's paper this spot, right? I know as crazy as that sounds, right? But the thing is you don't want to have somebody.
Right, no commingling.
So this.
It's all our paper gone, it's only March.
This paper belongs to the state and it only goes in the state printers.
Hmm.
And then the current administration decided that that should never been allowed
Hmm.
for 30 years prior to their service. So I don't quite understand that either, but because it had to have been there and I dug and dug and dug as far as I could in their budget and I couldn't find the details. So that's probably what they're going with is there was no detail deep in that House bill. So, and then she came up with this 10 cents and I said, it costs more than that because I analyzed mine and a couple big counties analyzed theirs and it was way more than that. But they only think we need 2 pieces of paper to print a transaction. But you got all these forms that have to be signed before you can do the transaction. So that's an average, maybe another 2 pieces of paper. And then your ink and your toners, those printers are $500 toners. I had to buy one year. I was like, holy crap, just wiped out my supply budget. So I don't think they get that. So she's been throwing money at us. She has $25,000 that she's been throwing divided by 56, divided by the number of transactions. So we, this county, have gotten $300 for the last 2 years. 300 last year, this year, and $300. Ask me how many boxes of paper that buys. 5 to 6, maybe. That doesn't count the toner or the printer. So the state did give us all of that equipment that gave us that was theirs is now ours, and I'm putting it on our inventory. Some of that equipment has been there for 15 years. It's not gonna last. And then they gave us 3 new mini computers to operate this new system. Well, the problem with that is that Shane will tell you, he's got to buy licensing. I mean, so there's more expenses on IT. He's got to buy those licenses. Okay, we're not talking a lot, but times 3. Then he's got to maintain them. He's got to keep those wires. I mean, so there's more cost than are like visible to the world. It's deeper than that. So that's why 10 cents doesn't really work. 10 cents will cover the paper.
Right.
It doesn't cover anything else. Now we have these 2 HP printers that belong to the state. They're at least 15 years old. I've been in that office for at going on my 12th year, right? 11th year. Those printers have been there probably before I was there. How long are they gonna last? I don't want them to break. They work just fine. But what if we have to replace those? It's not gonna be cheap because those are nice high-end printers. They're not gonna be cheap. So I don't know what the answer is. But like Craig just said, it's exhausting and you just want to go. But the more and more costs that come down on the county, that's why I'm hoping, and when I write it, I'll send it to you all first. I'll put an editorial in the paper and just explain to the taxpayer what's happening so that they understand, at least from the treasurer's office perspective, that we are not trying to punish them. That the state of Montana pushes more and more costs down to the operations that we do for them. It can cost them more. And we have to be able to explain that somehow. And I think that in August, a town hall, like Senator Beard said, come talk to us about the budget. When you guys get to that point. at the fairgrounds and say, this is why this is happening, so that you understand, it's not us. So I think I'm just gonna have to get them informed somehow and, I don't know, unless you all tell me I'm wrong, but that's what I kind of feel like I have to figure out something to write as soon as June collections are done. That explains in some type of editorial why the treasurer's office expenses have to go up. And that you may not be the winner in this game. The state doesn't see the taxpayer like that, I don't think. Makes me kind of sad. Anyway, our investments are fine because they're all CDs. So $7 million in multi-bank securities, and we have 21 million up at the state STIP.
You're hidden pots.
Yeah.
Hidden pots.
The sheriff's office thinks we have hidden pots of money.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell them different if they ask. So those monies though are investments that are obviously that we keep. So in my time here, our investment pool has never dropped below 15, but boy, if something happens, it easily could. Anyway, let's see, what was the other thing I was gonna tell you? I don't remember.
Fiscal
Short-term
year, you're turning the money over to the school down in Whitehall, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Thank you. I should, you know what? I should do better like your other people, write a nice list. Yes, July 1, Whitehall will no longer be in the county's funds. Except for what investments that they have with us. And that's only because they can't pull them out by law, because they can't hamper what their investment pool is. They can eventually though, but right now, those will stay. But as far as, so what we'll do each month beginning in July is anything that we collect for them will be issued a check at the end of the month, just like we do to cities. We'll write cities and some agencies, we'll just write them a check and
they do all their own.
they do all their own.
everything.
And they're supposed to be audited and OPI is supposed to monitor that. I know that when it fails, the system doesn't work. I hope we don't have to fix it.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you right now in front of all of you, I'm not fixing it.
Mhm.
Only because if they want it, they need to take care of it. I'll help them if they ask questions, but they have,
Well, they're the ones that wanted to do it.
they want to do it, and I think it's really more about the principal wants to do it. I'm not sure it's a good idea. I'm not sure that clerk is really can do it. They're still fighting to collect the $45,000 that she issued twice when she shouldn't have, to get it back from Harlow's. I mean, I've got emails after emails from insurance agencies. You know, I've provided documentation of what should have happened and what didn't happen. So they're out that, at least at the moment. I hope it works. Kindly, I hope it works.
We'll see.
We'll see.
One thing on your plate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I
today,
guess I don't want it to turn into a mess and then they want to give it back.
Yeah, it's true too.
I think that that's possible. What I'm so disappointed about is that they have badmouthed us like we've never treated them right, and that's just not true. That is just not true. Dan was at a meeting where she said, you know, that county just won't give us our money. Well, that's just not true. Their money's there. All they have to do is write a check. I mean, it's not like we're holding their money ransom. So if they want to manage it, I guess it is what it is. I signed the contract under duress, and Steve made a few changes for me so that I felt like it was
Less
better.
stress.
Less duress. But I don't know, cities and towns, we write them a check every month, and some agencies, so we'll just write Whitehall School the same thing. We'll just write them a check. So we'll continue to collect their taxes, obviously, and still bill their taxes. I don't know if we can charge them a fee for collecting them. I'm kidding. I don't think we can do that. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I give them a couple of years and we'll see how it goes. And and maybe I'll be retired when it comes back. No, I'm kidding. I think that she's trying. The clerk is trying really hard to get it right, so hopefully it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, yeah, that's my. We'll watch them, we'll help them.
Let's visit about Paulette and Denise when you get a sec to them, and make sure we have them categorized right, and I didn't know they were working so much.
Part-time, but Denise doesn't work all the time. Like
But
she's here
still, we
today.
can only work a temp for like a year. We
Oh,
need to, if she's, unless
Paulette's
they have a
actually,
break,
yeah, Paulette's actually on our
so,
payroll.
Okay.
She's not a temp. But Denise probably might be,
so let's visit.
but
when you
she's
visit.
gonna take the summer off. So that might.
Just wanna make sure we have them,
Yeah,
in the
I'll do
right
that. I'll
slot.
check.
you and
Yeah,
I'll visit.
I'm glad you
Okay.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
Glad you mentioned that. Yeah. So, anything else? Anything exciting? Anything exciting happening?
It's all exciting.
Well, we send out 450 mobile home bills, but I'm gonna tell you, 1/3 of them don't pay anyway, so,
And haven't.
and
Pretty much.
haven't. So it's kind of a waste of paper, but
Go take them all back.
the problem with that, I researched that. I think I researched it when you were first commissioner. I researched how to do that. The civil officer can certainly go out there and he can slap all those stickers on there. Hey, don't pay, we're gonna take that. We can take anything they own, like a car or ATV or a boat, if they have that. We could do that. We can certainly do that. Or we can haul those mobile homes onto the courthouse
Mhm.
lawn and have an auction, and I think that'd be more expensive.
We decided it was not feasible when I was dealing with it.
It's just not.
Was
feasible.
not
I
a good
mean,
idea.
There's just no
They can't
way.
pay their taxes, so they don't have a boat or an ATV.
Some of them,
Well,
that's why they
maybe.
have a boat, because they didn't pay their taxes.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
So I have 4 houses going to auction in September. And I'm praying that they. One lady was a contractor deed and she walked in with cash last Friday or Thursday. And she got all the taxes caught up. And then I called the person that did the contract, or that person called us because she got notified. She goes, I'll just pay them. And I'll, take care of it from my end. Well, then come to find out they haven't paid their mortgage payment for 10 years. So, I mean, the taxes are paid now, but
The mortgage is.
but at least that's off my list, but I have 4 houses. And one of them unfortunately is Donna Worth down south.
Still, yeah,
She's gonna lose it.
always.
No, but this time she's really, it's. I can't help those who won't, because we've given them everything we can to try to do it. The state of Montana still has money, they could have,
Mhm.
but they won't. So I don't wanna do that, but, Jerry's prepared if he's still here too, because God only knows he might retire too. That'll be the next one he does. But I don't wanna sell people's houses. So I would do whatever I can to not sell their house. I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna be that person. But I saved 2 last year. Thanks to Jerry helping me. She gets to go talk to the drug addict. Anyway, okay, so anything else?
See it too.
See, 2:00, Montana Tunnels, we have another discussion. If you want to join us. On eminent domain. There's another thing that's exhausting.
It was the main, yes. it was all-
Lots of those go on.
Hang in there, keep up the good work.
Okay.
Thank
guys,
you.
have fun.